Boris Johnson has hit out at the EU for attempting to tie the UK to Brussels rules post-Brexit as hopes fade of striking a trade agreement with the bloc. The Prime Minister was speaking on a visit to Blyth in Northumberland on Friday when he made the remarks. Boris Johnson said, "Unfortunately at the moment there is a key thing where we cannot seem to make progress. And that is this ratchet clause. They have got to keep the UK locked into whatever they want to do in terms of legislation. Then there's the whole issue of fish where we've got to be able to take back control of our waters. There is a way to go. We're hopeful that progress can be made. But I've got to tell you that from where I stand now, it's looking very, very likely that we will have to go for a solution that will be wonderful for the UK. We will be able to do exactly what we want from January 1st. Obviously it would be different to what we set out to achieve, but I have no doubt this country can get ready." His comments came after European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the negotiating team's positions remained apart on fundamental issues. The two leaders have agreed to make a decision on the future of the negotiations by the end of the weekend. Mrs. von der Leyen said the UK would be free to decide whether to follow suit each time the EU changes its regulations, though if it refused the bloc would adapt the conditions for access to its markets. The level playing field measures aimed at preventing the UK undercutting the EU on standards and state subsidies have proved a major stumbling block in the talks throughout. On fisheries, the Commission President said the UK and EU have not yet found the solutions to bridge our differences and urged the government to understand the legitimate expectations of EU fishing fleets built on decades, and sometimes centuries, of access. On these and other points, our negotiators are working. We will decide on Sunday whether we have the conditions for an agreement or not. She added, one way or the other, in less than 3 weeks it will be new beginnings for old friends. French President Emmanuel Macron meanwhile insisted he was not demanding to have my cake and eat it in response to a question on the EU's proposals that the bloc's fishermen would be able to continue to access UK waters for a year in a no-deal. Chief negotiators Michel Barnier and Lord Frost are continuing talks in Brussels after Mr. Johnson and Mrs. von der Leyen agreed at a dinner on Wednesday to resume negotiations ahead of a decision on the future of talks this weekend.